Welcome to the Empire Boxing Podcast. I'm your host, Jana. This is our first episode of our podcast. We're super excited. And we have one of my favorite up-and-coming professional boxers on the show. He's a local British Columbian legend with a record of 4-0. He's got 2 knockouts, so packs a little punch here. And a wicked amateur record, sitting at, I think, 30-1. And if you include his kickboxing record, that's 40-1. So the guy's a legend, very talented boxer. And welcome to the show, Buneet Bisla.
Thank you, Jana. I'm happy to be here and excited again that everything's rolling again and everything's back to normal.
Yeah, it feels good to come down from, let's just call it a massive hiatus.
Yeah, it's like whatever it is, I'm over it. Like,
yeah, that's the way to put it.
Back to normal.
And Buneet, you fought on our last event too. And what was that like for you? Kind of just, now that we're kind of on the topic of like not having a crowd. Did you find it more or less stressful? What was that like for you?
Not really, but it did feel like it without the crowd. Like I'm one of those that I feed off the energy. You know what I mean? Like when I see the crowd there, I get hyped, I get pumped. And having no crowd, it was like. Felt like it was a training session in the gym, Like it didn't feel like until I got in there, I was like, okay, shit, I'm fighting. Yeah. Right. And again, like not being in the ring for 2 years, going into that one, a little bit of ring rust, but as the fight went on, it shook it off and kept going.
Wicked. Yeah, and what a fight it was. If you haven't seen it, you can actually access that fight on our website. So first things first, how you doing? It's Sunday, May 1st.
Good. I mean, like you said earlier, this year's flying by.
Yeah.
It's going by quick, and I'm just excited. I want to see what we can get going. At least 2 to 3 at least. 3 fights at least. Excellent. This year. So, let's see what we can do.
Well, that makes all of us. We're excited there. Now, let's get to know you a little bit. I think everyone wants to know the inner workings, the deep stories, the past, the present, the future from Mr. Bisla. But let's start at the beginning. Tell us a little bit about how you were introduced to boxing.
Basically, I started Taekwondo at the age of 4 and kept going on from there. Main thing was going into kickboxing. At a young age, we couldn't fight kickboxing. There was no one at that age and that skill level to compete. So, and BC Athletic Commission was just coming in then. And basically, if you were under 18, you weren't allowed to fight kickboxing. So
you got a fake ID?
No, I went over to boxing. I did a crossover. I went over to boxing. And our coach at the time at our gym was Jerry Virasamy, and learned a lot from him. And crossed over to boxing. And when I was about 11, I had my first ring fight, and just went on from there.
Now, did you? How was the transition from kickboxing to boxing? Was it fairly smooth for you? Did you find that the disciplines there was a learning curve?
It was actually fairly smooth for me because I was training both, and then I made the switch over.
Nice.
So actually, my first fight was a little hard. You do see my leg come up a little bit.
Your opponent's like, not today.
A couple of times my leg was coming up, but because of the boxing shoes, I was like, okay, I'm in a boxing fight.
Right. So, right. Because being barefoot would have given you the trigger otherwise.
Oh, yeah,
okay,
definitely.
Interesting.
I think I would have kicked then.
Well, that would have been a highlight reel for sure. Have you ever kicked anyone in sparring since?
No. Boxing sparring, no.
Good. No. That's good for them. And then talk to us a little bit about your family background. Is everyone in the Buneet Bisla family, are they all athletic? Like, what's the...
Yes, they are.
Okay. Long legacy of athletes?
Yeah. Actually, in the Bisla family, a lot of the family is doctors.
Okay.
So my grandpa's brothers were all highly educated, and my dad's cousins are all doctors. We're the only ones that are fighters, but it's in our blood. Fighting is in our blood. And my great-grandfather, he was a general and a doctor in the army. Wow. So, I think
there's some warrior blood.
Yeah.
It runs deep.
Yeah, it runs deep. So
in the
fighting,
Bisla family.
Yeah, fighting runs deep. So, I think I was born into it. Like, it was, my dad was doing it. And he, with business, he didn't pursue it as much. But now I'm here to do that. So.
Were there any... was there any opinions from the doctor's side of the family about you guys being fighters? Were they like, hey, we don't want to see you in our office, or what?
No. I think they're proud now.
Yeah.
They love it. They enjoy it. And, we didn't go to school much, but, we're chasing our dreams, right? So
Right. Amazing. Yeah. Well, I mean, I suppose like your family's really there to have your back at the end of the day.
Oh,
right?
definitely.
They're your tribe.
They are. Yeah.
Outside of boxing, what kind of things, and kickboxing, I suppose, what kind of things were you into as a child? What did you grow up doing for hobbies?
Not much. I was always in the gym.
Yeah.
Always in the gym. Like I grew up in the gym, so didn't do much. Played outside, yes, a little bit here and there, but mainly we were in the gym.
Right, and we found out earlier your favorite cereal was Cinnamon Toast Crunch, which I completely applaud.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, cool. And was there anyone either in your family or outside of your family that influenced you the most as a young man growing up in the gym as a fighter with dreams and ambitions? Was there a particular figure or a couple figures?
Yes. One was actually my grandma.
Tell us about grandma.
Yeah, she passed away in 2019, but she was very supportive always. And I mean, a lot of people, even my mom, sometimes at my own fights, she can't watch.
Right.
But my grandma sat there at one of my fights. I think it was in 2017, and she just watched. She's like, "This is what he's gonna do, right? So we gotta support it, and we're not gonna be scared or nothing about it." So she was always supportive about fighting, and she was always my motivator. She went through a few ups and downs herself, and just watching how strong she was, it gives me the motivation as well, right? So,
do we have any do you have any cherished grandma quotes or anything any words of advice that she gave you or wisdom that you hold on to?
There's lots. Like I can't pick what are the best.
But like in those moments, it's her voice going through your head.
Definitely.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So that was one. Was there another one?
I think my grandma sticks out the most.
Amazing.
And obviously my dad and my mom as well, right? They play a big role in that. But definitely my grandma.
Amazing. I love that. Yeah, my grandma was a really important figure in my life as well. Now, we had this epic hype reel that came out for you for the last fight. And there was a lot going on in kind of like your cultural background at the time that you stood behind and kind of rallied with coming into the fight. Talk about how your values and your cultural background play into your warrior spirit as an athlete and kind of where you want to take that.
Yeah, I mean, if you look into our history, Sikhism, right? It's all about being a warrior, right? We fight for our rights, we stand for our rights, and then again, the last 2 years, that's what was happening in India, right? The farmers were protesting for their rights. Simple laws were being taken away from them, and I mean, they won now. It's good to know that they won, and that finally the Indian government is looking at that and saying, they're not going to go up without a fight, and. Other than that, I mean, it's in our blood. It's like we stand for our rights, and we don't give up for that, right? Like it's simple. Like you can watch so many videos on it. You can watch so much. You can read up on it. It's there. It's throughout history. It's always been like that. Where our people, Sikhism, Punjabi people, they don't give up. They stand for the right. And if someone's wrong, they'll definitely stand against that as well.
And is that important to you as an athlete, is having a voice?
Yes, it is. I mean, it right now. Obviously, we're still building, but as we get bigger, it's good to be a voice as well for your culture and for your people, because at the end of the day, if no one's hearing about it, right, how is anyone else going to know about it? So it's important to have a voice and especially educate people outside of the country as well, right? So like if you're in India, someone's got to do it so it gets out. And everyone notices about it. So, and is
that something, coming into a professional boxing stage and following your dreams and getting bigger? Is that something you intend to continue with? Is having a voice and speaking up for your people's rights and what's happening in your?
Definitely. If there's wrongdoing happening, I will always try my best to be out there and try to get more awareness towards it.
Yeah.
And
It's like it's always so crazy to me when people can watch things unfolding around them and not get fired up and not use the platforms that they have. But
definitely, yeah.
I think we've also come into an interesting time where platforms are also being kind of abused, and people are abusing each other for speaking out now too. So I think it's interesting to have a vision and a goal and be confident to speak on behalf of what you believe in, especially in these times. It gets more and more challenging, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So more about you. You've been in the gym since you were a kid. School was maybe secondary, but sports was first. So what motivates you? Like how do you wake up every day, not have Cinnamon Toast Crunch anymore, I'm guessing, and then get in the gym?
I still have Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Okay,
here
cool.
And there,
I was fishing for that.
I still have it here and there.
Excellent. The captain's he's proud.
Yeah.
So what motivates you? Talk to us about, like, what is that like for you? Is there a large, mental component? Do you visualize, meditate? What is the path that creates your commitment?
What motivates me is that, like, now I know I've spent so much time. I've sacrificed so much time. I've sacrificed people's weddings, like family events, things like that. I've sacrificed a lot, and for, like, I didn't go to school. Like, I obviously did high school, but I dropped out of college and university. I didn't go because I was just like, why am I sitting here? I'm in the classroom and I'm like, I don't need to be here right now, right? Like, this is not what I want. So like people, my friends and family around me that have gone to school, they're graduating now. They've got degrees and diplomas and this, that. So for me, it's like, I went this way. This is my route now. I'm not going to change up on anyone. I'm not going to let anyone down. This is the way I'm going. And every day, that's what keeps me going, is that there's no other plan B.
Sacrifice
this
and
is
commitment.
It.
This is plan A.
Yeah.
Do you ever have doubt? Is there ever a creeping doubt that comes in?
No, never.
Never?
No, never.
Amazing. Because I think that is definitely an indication that you're on your path. And I think sacrifice is a really important word there, is this idea that, you spent it. The money's gone. I spent it. I'm in.
Yeah,
and I'm going down with the ship.
Yeah,
amazing.
Sure.
Okay, cool. Now, within that journey, what are some of the hard lessons that you've learned?
I mean, there's ups and downs, right? You have off days and on days, your good days and bad days, but you just got to keep at it.
So even on those off days, you don't ever have a doubt in your mind that you're on your path?
Never.
And I think that mental toughness is huge. Were you, and do you find that were you born with this sort of this, unbending mental drive?
Yeah, I think I was born with it. Like, I don't think I was ever mentally weak. Like, I was always strong-minded.
No, do you train your mind like you train your body? Do you take practice in any, meditational techniques or visualization, anything like that?
A little bit, not too much though.
Okay.
Not too much, yeah.
What kind of meditation do you do?
Honestly, not much. If I'm taking an ice bath,
right,
like, I'll make sure it's very cold. I won't do I know people, they'll take a cold shower before I'll just jump right in.
Yeah.
And
this sounds like kind of
it'll be cold.
Yeah,
and
analogy of you. Yeah.
Like,
okay, just jumps right in.
Just breathing techniques, I guess. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And do you run through do you run through before your sparring? Do you run through it in your mind? Do you run through your fight in your mind? Do you play it out? Or you just kind of go in there and once the first punch is thrown and it's just work time?
Yeah. Like that. It's you can't really, I mean, yes, you do visualize as much as you can, but you're not going to really find out until you're in there, right?
Yeah.
You don't know what's happening. Like, you can watch a video on someone, on an opponent, and you're going to pick on that the whole time. But what if they changed? They're not going to come in like that. What if it's their off day that day? And then you're just looking at that.
Totally.
Right? So
do you find that can be a bit of a slippery slope? Like you spend so much time, learning about an opponent or making your mind up about what it's going to be like, and then they come in and surprise you completely? Or how much time do you and your coaching team spend on studying your opponents?
To be honest, I only watch my opponent once.
Wicked. Okay.
I'll never keep watching. I watch him once. That's for my dad and my coaches to do that, right? For me, I just watch him once, see what he really likes doing, and then that's about it. I'm alright with like I said, I really don't care.
Yeah.
Right, about how he's gonna come or how.
It's for the
people
coaches.
People change, right?
Sure.
So.
And he's also training to adapt to you.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, hopefully he's changing. Hopefully there's a strategy that's going to be adapted to your style from his coaching team. Now, great segue into coaches. Talk to us a bit about your relationship with your coaches. How did that evolve? Are you guys like family? Is it kind of is it lighthearted? Is it super serious in the gym with you guys? What's the coaching relationship like?
So I started in Taekwondo at the age of 4, and that was under Richard Kim. So I call him Master Kim, and that's at John Kim Martial Arts. And he's been with me since day one. Like my dad was under their father, Grandmaster Kim. So we've been like family. And basically, like, yes, I stopped doing taekwondo when I started fighting boxing, 12, 11. But he was always there. He's always in my corner. You'll see a Korean guy yelling. That's him, right? He's always there. And he's like a brother for my dad.
Yeah.
So both of them, like, without them, I don't think I'll fight, right? Like, I got to have them
Okay, I got to keep my eyes peeled for Master Kim.
Yeah.
Losing it in the corner
He's
next fight.
always there.
Wicked. Okay, cool. And then what's that like having your dad in your coaching team?
I mean, for me, it's like, with him, it's I guess it gets hard for him. Obviously, I'm his son, and you know he's there, but he's hard headed. Yeah,
This is juicy.
he gives me tough love.
Don't
but,
hold back on us, Buneet.
I'm not someone that likes to be, you know, pampered and this that. I like that. Like I don't want to be, oh, you're this, you're that, you're that. He'll never give me that either.
Yeah.
You know, he's always like, it's whatever's wrong, he'll let me know right away, and he'll be honest with it. Like, he'll throw it in my face, you know what I mean? I'm like, all right, no problem, right? But I guess that's what keeps me going, right? That's what keeps me level-headed as well. So with him, it's like, yes, he's my dad, but he's also my coach, you know what I mean? So with him, it's, you never know when you're going to train. You might be training at home, right? Wow. You might be training at home. He might ask you to do something at home.
So he's like, Buneet, pop quiz, put your wraps on. We're in the kitchen in 5.
No, not
okay.
like that. Not like that. Not that much. We'd go to the gym then if it's something like that. But yeah. Other than that, he's wicked. But like I said, he's still my coach.
Yeah.
As well as my father. So yeah, it's unique. It's a unique situation. Mm-hmm. But I mean,
but it's not unique to boxing. Actually, you know, there's quite a few
definitely. You see
father-son
a lot of the
dynamics.
Champions. A lot of the champions are like that, right? So I mean, yeah, and then. I think Floyd Mayweather Sr. says it, like, if you leave I forgot what he said to one of the Vargas brothers, but he's like, you're not going to be a champion without your daddy.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Well, interesting. And then there's like, you know, so there's that relationship. And then there's what we saw kind of like the Sean Porter and his dad's relationship on the, you know, when he retired and there was just that kind of awkward moment. I'm like, oh, I wonder what the car ride home's going to be like for these two. It reminds me of the movie King Richard. Did you see it? About the Williams sisters?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
Without spoiler alerts, there's this scene in the movie where they're in the van and the girls are talking about their tennis and they're talking to the opponents and they're kind of like, you know, basically celebrating like a creaming of one of their opponents, and the dad, you know, Will Smith just loses it and he shuts down the conversation about sport and he's like, we talk about tennis when we play tennis. We don't talk about tennis at home, you know? Mm-hmm. And I always wonder, like, in your home, after training, you know, you guys packed it in, you're sitting around the dinner table. Are you talking about boxing?
Oh, yeah. All the time.
And is it your boxing, or are you talking about boxing as an overarching?
Overall, in general, like, it'll be my boxing, it'll be some of the guys from the gym, it'll be, you know, if we're watching fights. Like, we only come home to eat and go to sleep.
So you eat, sleep, breathe, train,
yeah, and then we're at the gym.
Yeah.
Like, we're at the gym from half of our day is at the gym. We're teaching classes and things like that. So our mind is always towards training. Yeah. Right. And like a lot of my family, a lot of my cousins don't like coming over to my house because that's all that's going on is fighting, right? Like that's all in our head. Like we don't care about nothing else.
And do you ever feel the need that you have to, like, you want to turn off from it? You need a mental break. Like when you, like, do you go on vacation? Do you turn off sometimes, or is this kind of like your how you operate at your prime?
Even when we do go on vacation, we're still training. Somehow we're still training. Like with me, my dad's the same way. We can't sit still. Like if I miss a day of training, I'm like, I'm not feeling good. Like I'll be pissed off the whole day.
So it affects even your mood and your.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Amazing.
So yeah, I mean, like with us, even my dad, these guys went to California for a wedding. Every day he was in the gym, and he's like, honestly, like, he's like, it helped me as well. It's just being there. He's like, training wise, he's like, I don't want to miss a day. Yeah. And I'm the same way. I don't like missing a day.
So how different is your at-home, workout in the gym to a vacation workout in the gym? Like, are you still doing your shadow boxing, your jump rope, or do you have a S&C program that you follow? Do you have an on-season, off-season? What does that look like?
Not really, no on-season or off-season. Like, we're always training. Mm-hmm. We're always in the gym. It's just when we've got a fight coming up or anyone's fighting, then that's time to tweak it up. So I usually start about 7 weeks before the fight. And
then you start with your S&C. Do you start primarily kind of with like strength building as your first phase? And
No, not really. We just everything together.
Okay.
So it'll be everything together. Like it, it's a good mix. I like it the way it's been working for us.
Yeah,
so,
cool.
I like it that way. And like I said, we're always training. All our guys are always training. We're always in the gym no matter what. And then when it's time to fight, I go about 7 weeks before. I'll start really pushing it and start watching what I eat. No more Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And yeah, we'll go at that. But like I said, for vacations, training is obviously different.
Yeah.
Sometimes you won't even have a gym. You'll be outside somewhere. So obviously shadow boxing and running, and then body weight workouts like push-ups and burpees and things like that. So we're still in shape. When you come back, you're not completely like you've lost.
Just keeping that aerobic base up and that lactic capacity. Pretty soon you're gonna get to a point where you're gonna be so famous you can't do workouts on the beach anymore. It's gonna be cell phones out. People are gonna be like, is that Buneet Bisla? Fantasy match between you and another boxer
Obviously,
from the past.
Oh, from the past?
Yeah. We're gonna do current too. So hold on your horses here.
Okay, so from the past it would be, that's a tough one. There's so many. Probably Andre Ward.
Okay, why?
Andre Ward. I feel like his style is similar to mine as well. He's a technical boxer. He's smart, hit and don't get hit. That's his game. And he went out undefeated. So like if I could get that, I would definitely try to. That's a fantasy matchup for sure.
Okay, wicked. Yeah. And then current boxer. You had that one. I felt it.
Obviously Canelo.
Really?
Obviously,
that's not what I expected. Okay.
Obviously Canelo. I see that like a lot of guys that fight Canelo, they're always moving backwards.
I was just gonna ask you what your strategy would be against Canelo.
So I would just if I have a full, I'd go like 3-month training camp. I would just bulk up and just walk him down.
Now, who would you spar for your fight with Canelo?
Who would I spar? I'd bring in some heavyweights and this that. Like
right.
You have to. He's a heavy hitter.
Yeah.
Right. He's a heavy hitter. He's short, stocky, but he's a heavy hitter. So it would have to be someone short and stocky as well. I don't know anyone that size though. So.
What do you think about Ryan Garcia leaving the Reynoso camp?
I don't even know why. It was because he wasn't getting enough time or something like that. But like whatever it is, he's more of like a social media fighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's not all in there. I think that's what Canelo said. He's like he's got talent. But
he's not all in.
Yeah, he's not all in, and he's just not focused.
His cousins want to come over for dinner, and because they know they're not talking about boxing.
Yeah, definitely, right? Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, so if you could make a fantasy match that you were not fighting, 2 boxers from past and present, who would it be?
Past, definitely Andre Ward. Present, Canelo.
So you'd match those 2.
Yeah,
and then you would want to. What would you want to do? Corner one of them, or? You don't want to just watch?
Actually, I don't want to watch.
You just want to sit next to Eddie Hearn and watch. Cool.
Yeah.
Wicked. So give us like your, like if you were to talk to, yourself as a young guy in the gym, fresh from his taekwondo, keen to start kickboxing, totally can't do it. Looking at where you are now and where you've come from and all the sacrifices you've made, all the experiences you've had.
Yeah.
What would you say to your younger self?
That's a good one. I would tell him, keep going. You're on the right path. COVID's gonna hit, so watch out for that. Right? Don't let it get to you.
Heads up.
Heads up for that.
Just so you know.
Right? Leave if that comes to it. Leave. Don't stay in Canada. Don't stay in BC. Leave. Go to the States for a bit.
Yeah.
And try to get as many fights as you can out there. But I wouldn't. There's not much to say. I would just, same thing. Like I think my younger self, I think I did a good lead up to where I'm at. Like I set myself up good. So
yeah, that focus is pretty obvious. Now let's unpack the COVID box a little bit. How did that impact you? Like when did you have that moment where like your heart sunk and you're like, oh this thing's gonna be here for a bit, and what am I gonna do? Yeah,
so I think is March, that spring break. That's when they're like, okay, it's gonna be a lockdown, and then I think April of what? That's 2020.
Yeah.
April 2020. That's when it was like full on. No one was on the streets. Like that was when everyone's home, and I'm like, okay, it won't last that long. April goes, June comes, and then they do a little slight opening, and then bam, they're like, no, closed again. So that was 2020. I think it was September after school opened up again or something like that. That's when I was like, these guys are gonna carry it on. Like it's gonna keep going. They'll open and close, and then that was when it was basically closed for a while. And I was like, man, like this sucks, right? Like from no one can put on fights, right? No one's gonna take the risk, and that's why I give props to you guys, Empire, that did it in 2020. That was last year, where obviously you guys had to go through so much. Like I can't even imagine what you guys had to go
Gray
through.
hairs were grown and
like
nails were bitten.
Like all the sanitizing and cleaning just for that, all the rules and regulations you guys had to go through.
I didn't have to shower for a week with all the hand sanitizer flying around with me.
Yeah. But like with that, 2020 was weird. It was like, it wasn't, we were all still training too, but it was like, for what? Like there's nothing happening right now.
What did your team sit down at a point and like hash out like a COVID training plan? Was it just kind of day by day?
We did. We actually so the fighters, there was about 12 of us. We basically just because we were worried about people coming in to check. And at that time this was like prime COVID. So this is April 2020 to let's say June.
Yeah.
We didn't want to sit around. Obviously, we would all been chunky, right? Just sitting there eating what we were eating, like not even we were eating steaks and this that, and it was like we were enjoying it. It was a good off time, but at the same time we're like, what the hell? Like why, right? Yeah. And then so we split it up. We had there was 6 of us that would go in earlier, 6 of us go to after, and just keep training like that every day. And other than that, it was weird. It was a weird time, and I mean, I'm glad everyone went through it, and we conquered it, because this is like something like this happens again. I'm leaving, man. I'm going. I'm not sticking around in Canada, because we didn't handle it that well.
It's really tough for athletes too. I mean, I think there's a general sense that we have this mastery over our bodies and a mastery over our lifestyles. And then, all of a sudden you're kind of not in control or in charge anymore. You're not calling the shots. And I think that's really hard from not just a physical perspective, but the impact of the mental on the physical.
Definitely. And even while we were training for that last fight here, last year, April to 2021, it was hard. We couldn't bring anyone in because they're they were very weird about people coming in, even training for us, gyms and stuff too. There was you got to keep masks on. You can't have this many people and 6 feet distance. And we're we got through it, but it was don't want to go through that again.
Yeah.
It was not a fun experience, but
it was tough.
It is what it is.
You're the main event for our next show.
Yeah.
What kind of a statement are you hoping to make?
Honestly, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Obviously, I want to look for a stoppage, right? But I want to get in some rounds too. I always any of my fights. I want to get in rounds because it's just.
Is that for you? Is that for the fans? Is that
for me? For me, that's for me because it's just experience, right? It's more to look at. What I gotta work on. I'm very hard on myself. I'm never looking at the positive things. I'm always looking at what I can find to improve, right? Because that's the only way you're gonna move on. Right? Otherwise, you're not. If you're looking at the good things all the time, you're not even looking at the bad. What you did wrong. You're not gonna improve that way. So I'm always looking. I'm always hard on myself. My dad's hard on me as well, and we're always looking at what improvements I need to make. So that's why I feel like if I get in some more rounds, I'm definitely I got more footage to look at what I can do better for the next time. Right.
Now, let's talk about that knockout from the last fight. Gently and gingerly. I was standing ringside. I was doing some social media stuff, and there was a point where I remember going back to Anna, who was in production, and just being like, I don't think I should post this yet. He hasn't gotten up yet.
Yeah, I think he took 5 to 7 minutes to get up. Yeah.
And that was one of the most grisly knockouts of the night. And I mean, that fight, walk us through that until that moment. Because I was holding my breath. And that 5 minutes felt like 15. You know?
Yeah, he was a very well experienced opponent. Like I said,
and he was aggressive.
A lot of people didn't know. A lot of people thought, okay, he has some. I found out. I did a little bit of digging. He had some experience in Europe.
Okay.
And then obviously in back east, a lot of amateur there too. So he was experienced. The gym he comes from as well. He was tough. So a lot of good, well seasoned pros there, and I knew he would have been technical. So that's what my approach was. Okay, he's southpaw. He's gonna be technical. So it'll be a good boxing match. And as soon as I got in, he just rushed me.
I was gonna say because it did not unfold that way.
And it was smart because. That game plan was smart because it did overwhelm me a little bit, and as well as the ring rust from not being in the ring for 2 years.
So you were kind of expecting him to come in there. You guys are going to be moving around, throwing some jabs, measuring, and then he comes out like a bat out of hell.
So I was like, okay, it's going to be a dogfight then.
Yeah,
right?
it heated up quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I was like, okay, sometimes it happens. Like sometimes where you got to just throw everything out the window and you got to fight.
Yeah, and then how do you you were really calm. You managed him very well for the first couple rounds.
Yeah.
Are you kind of talking to yourself in the ring, just kind of going, okay, move,
a little
angle,
bit.
manage. What is that like?
A little bit, yeah. I was overcommitting a lot with my right hand, I remember in the beginning. And then when I came, I think it was after the second round, I came back and I was like, let go of the right hand, use your left hand. Right, use the left hand. I did hurt him a lot. I heard him, I think, in the second round. I heard him in the third round. Like I said, if the crowd was there, the audience was there, I think I would have finished it earlier. But I had no care. Like it was like I heard him and I was like, I don't know if he's hurt or that's just the way he is.
Yeah.
So I left it at that. But then I remember going into the fourth round. Like I told my brother, I told a lot of the guys from the gym. I was like, this one, it's gonna be a stoppage. Right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a stoppage. And I think even Dan called it out. He was like 1 minute, right, in the last round. So that's when I was like, okay, it's a minute left. I got to finish it now.
Yeah.
Right. And we clinched up or something. And you see me in that footage too, is I'm very just relaxed.
Yeah.
And then I basically walk away from the ref, turn around, and I put on an act. I'm tired. And that's what I wanted him. I wanted to come in and I was like, tired, man. Come
that was intentional.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, you gotta play. You gotta
little gamesmanship.
Oh, definitely. You have to, right? You gotta.
Because you also know his energy was out of control.
Yeah,
he was throwing himself at you.
Oh, definitely, and he did, and that's when I caught him. Right, I was like, okay, I'm gonna bait him in, and boom.
So how do you know? Is there a moment that you know that gamesmanship worked? Like you can see him recognize and register the message you're trying to send him, and you just know he bought, or he bit down on that.
I know he would because a couple people said, okay, it's the last minute, it's coming down to and like I said, there's no crowd, so you can hear crystal clear. I could hear the instructions he's getting. He can hear the instructions I'm getting. Right, so he basically I turned the corner. I'm like, okay, he's gonna come in. I already know he's gonna run in. Right, that's fine. Just gonna take my step back, get some space, and I'll be fine. And then that's like I said, my dad's like, put the right hand away for a bit. Use the jab. Use your left hook. Use the jab. And that's what I did the third and fourth round. And so he wasn't expecting the right hands. He was expecting, okay, he's throwing a lot of lefts now. He's using his left hand, and that's when I hit it. And then came in, and obviously I used the left. I set him up with that. Boom! As soon as my right hand touched it, it was over. So
and then we had that insane knockout. And that was I mean, there was a moment there we were all kind of concerned.
I actually was too myself, and I looked over to my dad. My dad's like sitting there with his hands on his head. He's like, and I was like.
But you managed that super well. Like your sportsmanship was, 10 out of 10. You went to your corner. You were super respectful.
Oh, yeah. No, I even went over and checked on him twice as well.
Yeah.
And the first time I checked, I was like, oh. But then after 2 minutes, I checked again just to make sure, and he was okay then. That's when he was responding and everything. So I was good. That was good too here, and he was okay. I talked to him backstage as well. Yeah. I think he did go to the hospital after.
Yeah, I think they.
But he was all right. He was okay. And like I said, props to him. He brought a tough fight.
No, he brought dog.
Oh, definitely. He did, and it was a little bit of it was uncomfortable, right? Yeah. How close he was to me. But like I said, I think if it was technical fight, it wouldn't have gone that well for him. It wouldn't have lasted that long. So that approach he took was smart on their behalf. But I mean, I can always adapt to it.
That's interesting because I think for a lot of maybe the fans and people that don't know, they haven't done their research. They haven't dug into the opponents. They're just watching the fight unfold in front of them real time, and they're expecting, they see his style coming in as that's his style, and everyone was just like, oh my God, this is gonna get hot quick. But it's interesting to hear that from you that that's actually not what you were expecting, and that's actually not the style that you've known him to have, and that was a game plan. And I think that that's cool because there's so many deep layers to the sport that people don't know sometimes as fans, like how much actual chess is being played, how much manipulation is happening from even as something as microcosmic as like a feint to pretending you're tired after a round or after a clinch break or something to bait the opponent to overcommit. There's so many layers to that.
So many, and like with him, he's a southpaw too. So that makes, like, when you're in a kickboxing fight with a southpaw, it doesn't matter because you're kicking and you don't need to take that. But when you're in a boxing match with a southpaw, it gets ugly sometimes. Like, it's,
And there's a greater risk of, clash of heads. And
heads and this, that, your feet your legs
tripping,
get tangled. Like, we tripped a couple times. Right? Like, he would come in so deep and I was on the outside. But, like my back leg would just get caught with his front leg. Like, it was, so.
What kind of fighters give you the most trouble? Like, who are you most, when you get in with someone, what's, you're like, oh no. What kind of fighters? What styles?
I've never been like that. I've never been like, oh no. It's like, I find out right away from the first round, like, okay, if it's going to be a technical fight or it's going to be a dog fight. Right? And I'm pretty good at switching it up quick. Like, I'm pretty good at, okay, if it's not going to be technical, we're going to have to fight.
And that's the difference, I think, with like, athletes in combat sports at a high level. The processing rate is it has to be so high. You're processing, the speed of and the data download of your opponent as you're moving with them real time. You're having predictions without overcommitting to an expectation, then maybe steered in a wrong direction. That processing rate at a high level is amazing to me.
Yeah, I mean that's why I love the sport. As well, right? It's different from everything else. Like, it's not like basketball or hockey or soccer or anything. It's like, this is individual.
It's problem solving at 1,000 miles an hour.
It's a chess
with
match.
With high risk.
Yeah. High risk and high reward as well too.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a good feeling. You know what I mean? You put in hard work, and then obviously you get a good reward out of it.
Amazing. So, well, we are beyond excited to have you as our main event for our next show.
I am too.
Before I let you go, I gotta know, because you sound like a Canelo fan.
Yeah.
As am I. Yeah. Canelo Bivol. How do you think that's gonna go?
Bivol is he's tricky, but I mean, I think Canelo saw a little bit of that similar style in that Kovalev fight. So let's see. Like, if Bivol's gonna fight backwards, then I don't think he's gonna I think Canelo's gonna finish it in the later rounds like he's been doing. But I think Canelo's got that one.
I think I'm super excited for that. I love
it's a good fight.
I love the style of those athletes, like the Usyk, the Bivol, the
definitely. And then Bivol isn't much bigger as well. I think Canelo might even be bigger. Like,
I think size-wise, taller. But
he's a bit taller, but I think Canelo's going to be stronger and bigger. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Bivol's very, he sticks to his game plan. He's very good at that. Doesn't matter how the fight goes. But Canelo is like,
he's just in another league.
He's on a different level right now. So
wicked. Thank you so much for your time today.
No problem.
It was wicked getting to know you.
Thank you guys for having me. And like I said, I'm excited for the upcoming show. And hopefully there's no restrictions or no lockdowns happening no more.
We're just going to put it out there. We're going to have a full house. It's going to be off the wall.
No, it will be, definitely.
And we're going to be excited to see a stoppage from you.
For sure.
Awesome.
That's what I'll be aiming for. So
three best boxing movies you ever seen.
Like that.
Three best, obviously the Rocky series. The Rocky series. Southpaw was a good movie as well. And then this is not a boxing movie, it's a kickboxing movie. It's Bloodsport. Yeah, Van Damme, man. Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I gotta know though, like, okay, so Southpaw. I couldn't get past the first 10 minutes because the like Hollywood staged boxing was so freaking bad. I couldn't watch it. Do you cringe as much as I cringe? Like my boxing prowess is far underneath yours, and I cringe.
I mean, like I said, it's a movie. right? So
Settle down, Jay. It's a movie.
yeah, it's just a movie. So
No, I'm sweating. I'm
but,
hot.
but yeah, sometimes it is like, what the hell, man? Like they could have done
bad.
better. They could have
Also-
done better. Like Creed, they put them through training, right?
Yeah,
like
that-
they
I'm
put
just
Michael B. Jordan through training, and then they got fighters. They've got Gabriel Rosado was in it. A few guys were in it. So they should have done that with Southpaw as well.
Yeah.
If that boxing approach was a little better,
Yeah.
it would have been it would have made it look a little better. But I mean, the movie overall, it's a wicked movie. So.
What's
$1 billion baby.
I can't stand it.
No.
I for the same reason. Like I'm
Yeah.
I'm the worst. And like I want to be like, oh, I support the female, blah blah blah. And I'm like,
What about the new
oh.
Halle Berry one? You see that?
I never saw that one yet.
Neither.
That's with MMA, right?
Got really good reviews.
Okay.
I
no,
haven't
never
seen
saw that
it.
yet.
But Warrior for an MMA movie, Warrior gave me chills. That movie was unreal. But also Tom Hardy's traps just stole the show.
Yeah, that guy's huge, man. He was huge in that. And they actually made a Indian version of that movie too, and it was horrible.
Oh no.
Horrible. Like,
Good traps
was,
though?
No, not at all. Not at all. Like it was horrible. I was like,
That was the secret
I'm saying
ingredient
that
right
like,
there.
wow, like this is exactly the same
More
movie
shrubs.
as Warrior, but like, what the hell? Like it's not
Yeah.
even.
What's the one with oh, it's we got oh man.
What are a few tracks in your playlist right now?
Ooh.
Training, walkout music. What's going on?
Honestly, my music's old right now, man. Like there's nothing
Okay, but like old, like how
Okay, you
old?
listen to country?
here and there, but not much. Not much
Really?
here and there, not
Hip-hop-
much.
hip-hop
Like
music?
Bum some gum some? Bum some gum some bum some gum
no,
some. I mean, no.
no,
Okay.
no, not that. 90s like Dr. Dre and like.
That's not
like,
old. That's
That's-
vintage.
But yeah, like it's.
Mobb
I don't
Deep.
know. I can't like even someone's asked me like, why don't you walk out to a different type of music, like some rap? I was like, honestly, like the new lyrics, it doesn't hit me, man. Like the beat is louder. So what are you listening to, right? Like there's no rap. There's no like, it's louder.
What do you think? You got any game day, like fight day superstitions that you go through?
No,
Nothing.
nothing. No, I'm so used to it because of just all the older guys that were fighting. I was always dealing with. I was sitting with them, you know. And then fight day, walk out with them and this, that. So I'm so, like with me, when I'm fighting, I don't even get nervous. Maybe when I'm on the drive there, as soon as I get out of the car, I'm like, okay, just another day, right? But when my teammates are fighting and my students are fighting, my heart's going, like, it's like, holy shit,
Yeah.
I'm not even that nervous for my own fight. Like, why am I going crazy right now, right? Like, I'll be
Because there's
sweating.
that ownership over their success and their safety.
Yeah,
and
for sure. Like, it doesn't matter who it is, like anyone. I'm like, crazy nervous. I'm like, why? Like, okay, just breathe, relax, you know, don't do anything stupid in the corner, right? Like, just breathe and relax. But when I'm fighting, it's like nothing. So.
Wicked. Empire Boxing Promotions' next event is July 16th. Stay tuned for more podcast episodes. Up next, we also got another BC legend. We're going to chat with Rhett Gibbons coming up. And Buneet Bisla, it was a pleasure to have you in the studio.
Thank you, guys. My pleasure.
Thanks. We'll see you next time.